Good evening and welcome, everyone. This is Megan Penley Pickett, Dean of Education for the Heartland Institute of Financial Education's College Coaching Program, the HIFE CCP, if we're using our acronyms. So welcome to our first value of the College Coaching Program for the month of December. Can you believe that already? Our next one is going to be, and hopefully I will remember to say this, our next one is going to be next Tuesday, which is the 22nd, because that is the fourth Tuesday of the month. I'm just going to make a note of that because they're typically every other week based on that, but with this, how this month fell, it is going to be next week as well. At a different time, we're trying to hit different time zones. For those of you who are on the East Coast, you may not want to join us next Tuesday because it will be at 10 p.m. your time. But I talked to someone today who was like, I am really productive between 12 a.m. and 3 a.m. I was like, I've been asleep for like a whole day at that point. So I am so glad that all of you could join us. I'm not sure, what your schedule is like and all of that. So I'm glad that you could take some time and join us. I am recording this, so this will be made available. It will be put in the consultant team site for those of you who are consultants, for those of you who are potential clients, potential students or families with the Heartland Institute. One, you can reach out to the consultant who invited you, or you can reach out directly to me. I'm going to put my email here in the chat. You can notice that I don't talk and type very well. I have realized that is not a skill set I have mastered. Chew gum and walk, can do. Type and talk, not so much. So with that being said, I am going to share my screen. So you all will walk through this program. Some of your names are very familiar to me. Some of your faces are familiar to me. So you have seen this before. We are going to leave a chance for questions and answers at the end. So feel free to put your questions in the chat box throughout the program. I'm the only one on from HIFE tonight, which is absolutely fine. Just means that I will get to those questions at the end of the presentation. You'll also be able to unmute yourself and ask your question live. So here we go. And it will look like, I'm going to turn my video off because I'm going to switch to my other screen, and it will look like I am not talking to you, but that is simply, whoops, not the case. What am I doing? Slideshow, there we go. Okay. Oh, and then it comes back over here. Okay, perfect. All right. So again, welcome to the Value of the College Coaching Program. This is presented by us at the Heartland Institute of Financial Education, our college coaching program. Many of you are going to ask, can I get these slides? I'd love to get these slides. Right now, we are keeping these slides because this is our presentation that we do a couple of times a month. But if there's anything specific that you as consultants or parents would like to know, feel free to take screenshots of it, that type of thing. We are getting in 2021, which will be here in, 5 or 6 minutes, we will be updating the slide deck as well, just to make it a little bit fresher and that type of thing. Have some new things that will be coming out in January. So we will have the slide deck that reflects that as well. Okay, who are we? We are, again, HIFE, Heartland Institute of Financial Education. We're a national 501c3. You know what I'm going to do really quickly? I hate to do this when people are on here, but I keep forgetting you know what, I'm going to do it later. I'm going to point out, because it bugs me, this word education should be in red, and to make that, but I forget every time that I see this. It makes me so irritable. So anyhow, we're a national 501c3. We're a nonprofit organization, and our mission really is to promote financial literacy at every level. And we believe that starts with talking with students and families about higher education. If you're a family member, then we want to talk about what is your wealth management? How do you use the money and the savings and all of those things to help either pay for or supplement your students' college post high school education. And if you're a student, how do you start thinking about those things early on? We provide college coaching for our students with an individualized coach, and how we deliver that is fully online. We have been online since our inception over 12 years ago. Our services are delivered via email, online meetings, and phone. So that is not novel now. That was novel maybe a year ago. And so, but that has not changed for us. We have allowed ourselves the opportunity then to figure out what are different types of services that we can provide. How do we really match our content to what our students and families are going through? This information down here at the bottom is our contact information. So definitely this email is the best way to get a hold of us. With COVID-19, with holidays coming up, our office isn't as staffed as it once was because people are in and out of the office. So it takes a little bit longer with the phone, whereas that used to be absolutely the best direct way to get a hold of us. Email now is the best direct way because most of our folks are online most of the day. You can also visit it's not really a new website anymore. It came out in April, but I like to think of it as new. Our coaching website, collegecoaching.org, that really focuses on our college coaching program. And you can like us on Facebook. This is a really great way to get tidbits of information, yes, about our program, but about college, university, and post high school planning. I'm not going to read all of these slides to you. Sometimes I end up doing that. I'm going to do my best not to. What I really want to walk through tonight is the four major challenges that are facing our students and families as they are planning for college and university. As you're planning for what to do after high school, these are a lot of the things that come up. The number one thing that comes up for folks, obviously, is the rising cost. It's risen over 25% in the last 10 years, with the average cost of in-state public institutions at over $23,000. Now that's just the average. You can see the breakdown there of what we call the net cost of college. So it's tuition, room and board, fees, and then there's some other fees that go into that as well. For those of you who aren't aware of some of the nomenclature, some of the words that we use around this, public in-state tuition is your state schools in a state where you are a resident, where you have been a resident for at least a year, right? So you don't just move somewhere and become resident, that type of thing. We've had students who have thought about doing that. Oh, if I live in New York and I move to Massachusetts right away, then I can be. I'm like, no, they they have rules around that, so you have to pay more. But you can see that our out-of-state public is almost $40,000, with private schools topping out over $51,000. And I worked at a private school for about 15 years. I can tell you that it costs more there. So these averages are fairly conservative. So we try to find those schools that bring that average cost down. But it really is expensive. And it really has our students graduating with over $32,000, almost 33. That's a lot of debt to come out of school with. And many, again, that's average. Many of our students are coming out with a lot more, maybe because it costs more to go to that school, maybe because they weren't able to get financial aid. Maybe they weren't, like myself, very smart with the loan money that they got. Oh, I can just go out to eat on that. Oh, I can just pay my organizational dues. I have learned a lot about finances since I was in college, but a lot of our students don't learn that lesson unless they, sort of learn the hard way. And so when we're thinking about what the real cost of college and university, obviously it takes into account those pieces that I just talked about. It also takes into account that the average time it takes students to graduate with a bachelor's degree is 5.5 years. So a lot of people will refer to it as a 4-year degree. We would love if it was still a 4-year degree. It tends to take that additional year and a half and sometimes more, which really comes out to, you can see these numbers, almost $35,000 in tuition. We're also taking into account over $77,000 in lost wages, with a total cost of almost $112,000 additional, right, for lost wages, that additional tuition, if we're spending additional time in college. And so when we're thinking about that, we're accruing debt, we are taking out more loans, all of those pieces are coming into it. So when you think about what the real cost of college and university is, You have to really ask yourself, how much is college planning worth to you to avoid some of these missteps and pitfalls so you can graduate in 4 years or less? And when you're thinking about financial aid, I love to tell people this. Did you know that there are different types of financial aid? And we work with families around all of these different areas. Obviously, there's federal aid. This is the FAFSA that people get really anxious about. And that's one of the ones that they know about that you're going to have access to filling out in fall of your senior year. State aid is going to be anything, not every state has this, but some states do have state specific aid. There's private scholarships and grants. This is what a lot of people are thinking about when they're talking about scholarships. They're talking about the private entities that are awarding that. School specific aid, this is going to come from the specific college or university once you are accepted. And then there are loans, and there's several different types of loans. There's private loans, there's federal loans, there can be state loans. So there's a lot that goes into thinking about how to pay for college that's not just FAFSA, or it's not just private aid. There's a lot to think about, and we want to help you maximize your opportunities to find the best option and the best package for you. Excuse me, I am very thirsty tonight. I live out in Colorado, and it's about 25 degrees outside and snowing. And so we have the heat on, which makes me so thirsty, which doesn't help when I talk as fast and loud as I do on these. So I apologize for my frequent water breaks. So the second challenge I want to talk to you all about is choosing a career. Now, Megan, why would you start about choosing a career when that's the last thing? That's what you do when you graduate college. Well, we begin with the end in mind, because if we don't know, I always tell people you can't plan a vacation if you don't know where you're going. And that's how I think about your career. If you know the direction, maybe not, the specific part of California that you're going to, but you want to go to maybe the north or maybe the south, or something along those lines, you can start filling in the blanks. And students don't even know where to start when they're thinking about a career. It would make sense for them to go to their high school guidance counselors. And those guidance counselors are working tirelessly on behalf of their students and community, but they have an average caseload of 455 students. And especially now in our pretty much all virtual world, that's really, really challenging for counselors, and it's challenging for students. They are still working hard. This is not a knock against counselors in any way, shape, or form. They are under resourced by a lot, but it's really hard for students to then have those one-on-one conversations. So they start thinking about, I guess, well, maybe I'll go into business or be a doctor or be a teacher, fire person, or an astronaut, right? Like these tend to be the things that students come up with, because they don't know what all of the nuances are. They know what mom and dad do or family friends, but they don't have the ability to have those one-on-one conversations that are really going to get at what that student really wants to do and what they want to accomplish. It's also important to think about what career will be available to them when they graduate. Relevancy is key. With technology changing so much, it's really important to know, one, is that career going to be there when you graduate in 4, 5, 6, 7 years, depending on when students start the program? And will it look the same, right? What will be automated versus what is done by a human being right now? So really thinking about that, and really thinking about which post high school option is best for that student. Yes, obviously we're a college coaching program, but we want to make sure that students and families know that there are other options to them. If maybe college and university isn't the right move for them right now, maybe it's not the right move for them at all. And we talk to them about trade and vocational training, potentially taking a gap year, although that looks very different than it has in years past. And what's not up there is talking to students about military, obviously not pushing anything, but talking about the benefits of going to a military academy if students can get it, and some of the financial benefits from that as well. So again, thinking about what that career is and how do you get there. But if you don't know what your career is going to be, it makes choosing your major just as challenging. So then you just start, oh, again, I'll choose business, or I'll choose education, or something along those lines, because we don't have anything to match it up to. So students aren't really clear on what they're focusing on, which results in 20 to 50% of students starting college undecided. Now, what undecided really means, depending upon the student and the institution, is they're going to start taking classes that are going to fit general education, but may not have, depending on how long they stay in that undecided space, that may not translate to a degree. Once students then decide on what their degree is going to be, then they can start making that plan. But oftentimes a year or 2 years has gone by, and some of those classes aren't going to count towards that. Now you can see where that extra year and a half, sometimes 2.5 years comes in. 75% of students change their major at least once, and not too much of a problem if you know how to navigate the system and utilize your resources. But when you don't, and a lot of our students don't, they just say, oh, I want to go from business to education, or from education to communication, or whatever it might be. Again, we're losing a lot of the impact of those classes that we took, and we have to start paying for more classes. So how do you do that in a really smart way to where you're being a good steward of the time that you have spent, as well as the money? And the fourth challenge that I want to talk about tonight is college selection. This is often where students and families want to start the process. And we believe that this comes a little bit later in the process, because you need to make sure that one, it's affordable, and two, that it's affordable or within your idea of what a reach financially would be. And you want to make sure that it has the major that you're interested in, right? If you want to go to nursing, then you can't go to the University of Denver because they do not have a nursing program, right? So to get really excited about one school, and then to find out that they don't have that major or that educational program, that can be really challenging for students. And a lot of them don't even know how to choose, right? They think, well, my parents went there, my friends went there, it's really far from home, it's really close to home. They're not sure how many schools to apply for. We suggest applying anywhere between 4 and 6 in a couple of different tiers for that. But without having this information, without having this solid plan going into college, 25% of undergraduate students transfer schools. If we think that changing your major is going to be sort of a setback in both time and money, or potentially could be, I guarantee that this could potentially show up as a necessary, but yet still a setback for students if they are going to transfer schools. So transferring schools isn't the worst thing that can happen, but a lot of times your credits aren't going to transfer. Excuse me, you're going to have to retake those classes, reshape your major. So again, you're looking at time equals money. So then you have to ask, what is your plan? What is your plan for planning? And what is your plan to answer a lot of these challenges that we have just talked about? These are average days if you're talking about at the start of an academic year. So at the start of ninth grade, there's 720 days until college. At the start of 12th grade, there's 180 days until college. So really thinking about how much time you have to actually start making these decisions, asking these questions, doing the research, and getting experience, talking with people that do this kind of work that maybe you're interested in, really makes a difference. You don't want to cram that into 2 weeks, because that's just not enough time for your brain to process it. And so here are some of the benefits of our Heartland program. We do offer one-on-one individualized attention with an average caseload of 65 students. Very different, again, from the 455 students that are, again, very, very hardworking educators are working to provide. We talk about a strategy to maximize academic options in high school, and this is something that we start as early as the middle of 8th grade. So at this point in time, we're accepting 8th grade students. And we talk with them about, how do you set out your academic plan for all 4 years? Now, you can change that plan if other classes are available to you, or you're performing potentially better, or sometimes not as well as you had planned academically. How do you make the most of that? But when you start planning, it makes it easier to change than feel like you're going in without a plan. That's where a lot of anxiety comes in for our students and our families. We want our students to have a well-rounded experience in high school. That means getting involved. That means, yes, obviously, taking the classes that are meeting or challenging you academically, but it also means getting involved with organizations, with clubs, with activities, with volunteering, creating those relationships with your teachers, with your advisors, with your coaches, those types of things. It's going to give you an opportunity to meet other either like-minded or very different-minded students, which is going to, again, add to that well-rounded experience. We really push hands-on career-focused research when it comes to choosing a major and choosing a career. Again, I talked about that financial aid navigation, tailored college searches to fit the needs of that student, and essay review. This is something that does set our program apart in that we offer unlimited essay review for both scholarships as well as for college and university applications. So this is a really, really valuable thing. Obviously comes more into play when you're a junior, especially when you're a senior, but building that rapport with your coach, if you start earlier in the program, really allows you to focus on having that best application possible. Here are just some of the results that our students and our coaches experienced in the 2019-2020 year. You can see very, very high scholarship dollars, and this reevaluation dollars are when the student received their acceptance to the school as well as their financial aid package. Through the guidance with the Heartland college planning coach, they were able to craft letters and have conversations on behalf of themselves and their families to say, I really want to go to XYZ school. There's still a financial gap. Are there scholarships? Is there money on the table? Is there another way for me to fill that gap? And our students received over $351,000 in reevaluation dollars alone. We reviewed over 2,000 essays. And in addition to what our results are for our upper class students, we've also had students that were accepted into elite summer camps and internships. This is part of maximizing your experience that our coaches talk about, is looking at how you're utilizing your summer. Yes, getting a job when you age into those opportunities, volunteering again when you age in, also looking at what are those summer internships or camps or things like that that would be really helpful to you as an individual? What are you interested in, whether it's STEM or writing or music or art or sports or chess, or fill in the blank on what it might be, and how do you find those that are in your local area and maybe to travel when that is appropriate again. These are just some of the schools. Our students were accepted in over 262 different schools, including these here. Some of these are, well, all of them are fairly impressive. I think anytime a student gets accepted into a college or university, it is impressive. And who are our coaches that deliver this program? They are educators that have 20 plus years in the workforce, whether it's in education, whether it's in hotels, whether it, coming from an HR background. So it's varied. They're all fully vetted. They're all fully trained. They work together as a team. Students are assigned an individual coach. So they work with one. I used to be a coach. That's how I started with Heartland. So I had a caseload of students and I worked with them individually. When and if I had questions or there was a unique experience, and you don't get any more unique than 2020, right? But when there was a unique experience that maybe a coach wanted to vet, we have a team of coaches that we utilize. We rely on one another, and they rely on one another to answer questions and provide the best resources to students. And most importantly, they are student focused. These coaches go above and beyond for their students and really provide a very high level of not only service, but information and care for that student. This is some information about our program. This red box at the top is really focusing on our comprehensive program. This is the 12-month full year program. This is the program that we have had since our inception. Payment plans are available for this, the cost of the comprehensive program. It's currently on discount for $24.95 versus the $26.95 that you see on your screen. That is available through December 31st of this year. This is obviously built on these foundational pieces, but it also has unlimited email access to coach, additional recommendations, and access to special webinars. And it is for 12 months and is renewable for a year. Each year that you renew is $500. Excuse me, I keep getting these little hiccups that are coming through. And so for that first year, it's an investment. It's always going to be an investment, don't get me wrong. But each year after that, it's less of an investment excuse me, and students get to continue working with that same coach, building on that foundation that they started in their first year. These pieces that you see under here are different options. So these are the core pieces of our comprehensive program that we broke out to be sort of an a la carte version of the program. These, for the most part, outside of career assessment and guidance, which is open to all of our students, this college selection, financial aid, application, and post-high school planning are reserved for late juniors or seniors, because this is really tailored to what they will be receiving. Obviously, it's for a shorter or a smaller cost. There are no payment plans available with this. It is a one-time fee. You can see down here, here are the major differences. 12, in the red, our comprehensive program. Obviously, their major difference is cost. It's also 12 months with unlimited access to the coach, unlimited email access to the coach. Each of these is 4 30-minute sessions. So it is very time bound and it is very focused. If you apply for and pay for the career assessment and guidance, that is the information that you will be talking with your coach. And so it's not a broad spectrum that lasts. This is not renewable. So this is really meant to meet the needs of students and families that are looking for a very specific type of college planning and want to do that in sort of a short burst of time. You can put these programs together. If you put 3 or more of them together, it starts being cost prohibitive and it's much better to put to go with the comprehensive program. But if 1 or 2 of these is what you need, then that is available to you. If anyone has any questions on it, one, you can find more information on these individualized a la carte programs at collegecoaching.org, or you can send me an email at megan.pickett@hife-usa.org. I can walk you through what that looks like. It gives you some of this information down here. So what are your next steps? If you are interested if you are a prospective family or student, you're interested in either finding out more, you're interested in enrolling, especially to get that discounted cost on the comprehensive program. That is, and let me be really clear about that. I forgot to mention this the other day. That discount does apply for the full payment of that program and the second option, which I believe is a high level of a down payment, but it is not available for the monthly payment option. So wanted to let you know that. But if you're here as a prospective family member or student, contact the college planning consultant who invited you to this event. If you found us via email or Facebook, online, you can follow up with us directly at HIFE-CPP@hife-usa.org. I'll get to that slide in just a moment. Payment options, again, are available, and you can begin working with the coach in less than 5 business days, especially at this time. As we get into the week of Christmas, our office does observe Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, those types of things. So there may be a little bit of a delay in getting hooked up with a coach if you enroll at that time. So now is the time to do it, especially if you want to start working with someone on or before 2021. Thank you again for joining us. This is our last slide here, and I will pop out and find out what questions we have. I feel like I was a little bit jumpier and a little bit more less focused than normal tonight. So I apologize if it felt like that to all of you. I'm happy to clarify anything. But again, please visit us online at collegecoaching.org to find out more information. That also has our contact information. Please, 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 we would love if you liked us on Facebook and send us an email at hifecpp@hife-usa.org. There is our phone number, but again, that's the one piece of our business that's not working really great right now because our staff is in and out. So email is the best way to get a hold of us. All right. So with that being said, excuse me. I'm open for questions. It looks like we have a couple on the chat. So I will read those and address those. Please feel free I am giving you permission to interrupt me because there's no social cues on Zoom to say, oh, she stopped talking. I never stop talking. I like to fill silences, so feel free to interrupt me. We have one question on here. What's the fee for international students? Thank you for bringing that up. We are currently not enrolling international students. We are in the process of reviewing and really taking a close look at our international student program and looking at what's sort of going on in the world. We want to be able to make sure that we are able to meet the needs of our international students and that our program is able to do what we say that it will do. So currently right now and through the first quarter of 2021, we will not be accepting international students, and we will be reviewing that and making a decision on that for the second quarter. Can I go back to the payment plan options? What exactly would you like me to go over?
Yeah, it's my question, Megan.
Yep.
Just like if you choose only a particular 649 plan, how long or how many weeks it is covered? Because I have a guest who is asking only for a little bit of a plan, not like comprehensive plan. So
sure.
Just on that. Yeah.
Sure.
Thank
so
you.
Those options, yeah, no, it's a great clarification. Those options, not the comprehensive plan, but the options that are there are $649. You get 4 30-minute sessions, and that's delivered in a maximum of 8 weeks. So if they want to do it in 4 weeks, that's great. It can't exceed 8 weeks, if that makes sense. So it's 4 30-minute sessions.
Yeah. Can I just see the slide, please?
Sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And that's also on that collegecoaching.org if it's something that you want to share. Whoops. If it's something that you want to share. Oh my goodness. Here, let's just bring this up. Let's do that. There we go. Okay. Now let me see if I can still get to my chat while this is up. I think I can. Oh, my computer is just, it's not my computer. I want to blame it on my computer, but I don't think that it is my computer's fault. All right, I'm going to stop sharing. Is that good? Okay, perfect. Oh no, we don't want to end the meeting. I'm telling you folks, my brain is not here today. Oh, and here's the chat. I figured it all out. I love learning new things in front of people while it's being recorded. That's always super fun. Let's go back and see what else that we have. If enrolled for 8th grade and we don't use the essay and application service for the first 2 years, is it still the full package? It is still the full package. There are different things that come, with different grade levels. So in 8th grade, we're really focusing on how are you going to, what is your plan going to be for high school? How are you going to choose your classes? What is your plan to get involved? How are you going to transition into high school? Because it is different from junior high, right? So each year has a different focus of it. For those of you who are consultants, in the consultant team site, in the webinar section, which is over on the left and down towards the bottom, there are grade specific videos that are between 10 and 15 minutes, depending on the video. That's a great thing for you to watch to see sort of what that focus of each year is. And it's also something that you can share with families. So it is a little bit easier for us as you were looking at what those options are, those a la carte options. It was easier to break that out, excuse me, for our seniors, because there are a lot more of those logistical things that they will need to be doing and are looking for. But we certainly suggest enrolling in 8th grade or 9th grade with the comprehensive package. Not only does that then give you the next 4 years for less than what you paid for that first year, because the renewal is $500 per year, but it gets you starting to think about those questions of what do I want to do? What do I want my career to be? We start with those assessments for all students, and it gives you a lot of time to do that research. So that's really, I think, one of the key components for starting earlier. can single comprehensive plan be used for the entire family with more than one kid? It cannot. It's not designed to work like that. So each student gets assigned a coach. Now, if they're in the same family, we may assign them the same coach, but they deserve that individualized attention. So as a consultant, you can't sign up multiple students under one comprehensive. Somebody had to leave. I will do my best to try to remember that. Hold on, give me 1 second, folks. Somebody had to leave. They want to make sure that I email them. So if I don't pull this up right at this moment, it will never happen. So I need to pop that into my email really quick. So you are getting me on a very slow brain day, folks. So I apologize. I am sure we have all experienced it, but I apologize. So here we go. We've got one more message on here. Perfect. So we got that taken care of. What other questions or concerns? You can either unmute yourself, go right ahead. I'm giving you permission to interrupt me, or you can pop that in the chat. And I see a couple emails have come in and said, hey, can you send me this presentation? What I can send you probably in the next day or two is the recording of this presentation. We're not sharing out these slides right now. There's other presentations that are in the consultant team site, but so in the next day or so, when this gets translated into a YouTube link, I'll be happy to send that out to folks. What else is coming up for people that I can help with, that I can answer for you? Okay. Usually when I start to say, okay, then I'm going to sign off, people say, oh, wait, hold on, I have a question. I do the same thing. So
Megan, I have a question.
There we go. Thank you, Veena. Yes.
When somebody is really in senior year, and how much can we help them at that point?
Yeah, that's a great question. Just pulling another email there. Sorry. It's a great question. It depends. We can always help them. That's the company line, right? We can always help them. And I truly do believe that. It depends on what type of help they are looking for and the point at which they are coming to us. Do you have a specific scenario that you're thinking of, or is that a broad question, Veena?
It's a broad question because I had a client, their kid is in 12th grade. They have already done FAFSA. They are, I mean, I don't know what to tell them to sign up at this point, but she has done already FAFSA, and I don't know what we can do for her. I mean,
Sure.
my question is, and he asked me, can you, how can you help me? So I don't know if, and that's what I'm asking you, can we help them?
It depends on what type of help they are looking for. You know, if that student, it sounds like they've done FAFSA, so that's great. If they have gone through the application process and have already identified that, where we come in, really what our sort of January through May focus of the program.
Did we lose you?
Yeah,
we lost you, Megan. We'll just wait. She'll sign
that
back.
Providing essay reviews for that.
Sorry, Megan, we lost you for last 30 seconds.
Okay. Am I back now? Can you hear me now? I thought everybody was very still, but you know, you never know. So I apologize for that. And so what I was saying was the focus of the second half of the academic year for seniors, so January through May with our coaches, is really looking at, are there any applications that need to be finalized? Because a lot of the applications that they're looking at may not come till January, February, March, if it's a rolling deadline. So assisting with that. Also looking at private scholarships, so encouraging students to apply, providing the essay support for that. And then when students are being accepted into colleges and universities, helping them decide what's a good financial aid package for me, right? Looking at FAFSA, looking at potentially loans, all of that, helping them discern that. And then walking through the reevaluation process if that's necessary. Again, continuing, encouraging students, because left to their own devices, I don't know if you know this, but seniors in high school don't really want to do a lot of extra work for a long period of time. And I say that out of love, out of having worked with high school and college students for the last 15 years, right? It's hard to keep that going. Oh, great, I got into college, we'll figure out how to pay for it. And mom and dad are pulling their hair out and working 12 extra jobs. So the coach really is providing that accountability. How many scholarships are you applying for? Providing the essays, that type of thing, and then helping them transition into college, especially because right now we have no idea what that will look like. We weren't really sure what it was going to look like this fall. It's still pretty up in the air of what it will look like the fall of 2021 as well. So I share all of that to say, if that is the type of help a student is looking for, then yes, our program can help with that. If let's say this was July and you're asking me this question, the answer I would give is all of those pieces, right? We're talking about career, we're talking about major. We have a lot less time to do that than you do if you start in 9th or 10th or grade earlier on. And so we're not maximizing high school options at that point. We're working with what we have. So what makes sense? How do we figure out and prioritize our applications? And again, then providing that, yes, that financial aid and FAFSA support, the
We lost you again.
I'm not sure if folks, oh, can you hear me? I know, I figured out I was lost.
We lost you, I think, 45 seconds.
Okay. I don't think I said anything very, very enlightening at that point. So
You were talking about if it is after July.
okay, if it's after July, then it's really a lot of the focus on applications, focus on narrowing down careers if they haven't done that work, narrowing down majors if they haven't done that work. Again, we're not talking about maximizing high school options and making sure we've taken classes, because that ship has sailed by the time they get to that program. So what are we working with? How do we maximize then their options for applications? So it's sort of the two part of that senior year. Now, if we are able to start working with them earlier on, we start those questions earlier. So by the time they get to July of their, going into senior year, they know the list of schools that they're going to apply to. They visited either virtually or in person if that's available to them. I have a niece who's in the process of doing that now, and it's very different, than it was a year or so ago. So that's kind of what we're walking our students through.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I think it's a great question. Thanks, Bina. We have a question on here that says, what is a good time for 8th grader to enroll for 4 years to complete college application and scholarship negotiation? I think really at this point in 8th grade, you can apply, and then you just renew, each year after that. And if I'm reading the question correctly, then they're thinking, well, I want to be able to take that through senior year. So if they were to enroll right now, then they would, need to renew each sort of January, and that would then take them through their first year of college, which is a really great transition for that student. If they are not looking to take this program into college and want it to sort of end at the end of high school, then I would time it out that way, sort of a May, June of, going into high school year. So which package would be best to recommend for an 8th grader when the parents can't afford the full comprehensive package? that's challenging. I think that the only one that would really be applicable to an 8th grade student as a standalone piece would be that career assessment and guidance. So that comes along with the assessments. It starts talking to them about what do you think you want to do, and here's ways to research and that type of thing. But other than that, our other smaller packages are not designed for 8th grade students. They're more designed for upper class students. So good question. What else is out there that I can help clarify or answer for folks?
So is there a plan where somebody takes help in the entering to high school and then they take a break and get back on 11th grade?
I'm sure that I don't have data to support that. I am sure that we have had people that have done that. If there is more than a year in between when a student has stopped the program and wants to start again, they will need to pay that full enrollment fee of $26.95.
Yeah, got it.
So,
Thank you.
yeah. Okay. Well, folks, I appreciate you spending time with us. Again, I usually have a long sign off, so if people have questions, feel free to ask them. But if you want a copy of this, it will be available in the team consultant site. So don't worry about that. It will be there in the next couple of days. You'll be able to find it. If you want it sent to you, email me. A couple of you already have, which is great. I'm going to put it in here again. It's megan.pickett@hive-usa.org. Here we go. It's only been my last name for 14 years. You think I would spell it right, but I don't usually. But it is 2 T's in there. Feel free. My full last name is actually Penley Pickett. And so you're lucky that you don't have to type that out every time. That was short-sighted on my part when I got married a number of years ago. But feel free to send me a direct email with a request for this recording. And then you'll be able to get that as well. And if you have any questions that come up, and feel free to share this out. This isn't proprietary in any way, right? It's meant to be shared. It's a little bit long, right, for clients to sit through, but sometimes that's really helpful, or you can sort of jump to the points that really make a difference and that you want to share with them. So please feel free to share that link out and give them, sort of the time parameters that are going to be most impactful for them. So feel free to send me that email. Again, it will probably, today's Monday night, probably by Wednesday, I think we'll have that, depending on if we're able to convert it tomorrow or not. So again, the value of the college coaching program will be next Tuesday, December. I'm going to double check. I'm going to double check my numbers. I guess it is right. I'm just not really quite ready for next week to be in the 20s, but it is next Tuesday, December 22nd at, I'm going to start Pacific time, 6 p.m. Pacific, I'm going to start again.
8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern.
That would be right, but I started with the wrong number to begin with.
Okay.
It's 7 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Mountain, so 8 p.m. out here where I am, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern is when that is going to be. It's got a separate Zoom link for the Tuesday night one, and that one is hosted by Coach Mark Smith, who is fantastic and answers really great questions and is very well versed in the program. But again, that information, 1 is always sent out in an email, and 2 is in the consultant team site on the calendar. So feel free to join us or invite folks to that. And then we will see you again in January. So
thank you. Is the link there already, Megan, you said?
It is, yeah. If you look on the consultant team site in the calendar portion of that, if you click on that, it should be there. If it's not, let me know, but it should be. I mean,
okay.
yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. People are asking, what are the videos or presentations in the consultant section that you're referring to? Specifically, if I was talking about the grade specific, that's what it's called. They're grade specific presentations, grade specific videos. So it's 8th grade through 12th grade. It's at the lower section and potentially on the second page now of the webinars. The website is the, let me see if I can find it. It looks a little bit differently for me, but it's the Office 365 site that is
Heartlandportal.org.
I'm sorry?
Heartlandportal.org, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, heartlandportal.org.
Yes. That's it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Like I said,
No
it
problem.
looks differently for me. So I will pop that in here in the chat. Nope. And then you use your HIFE credentials like you do to get to your email. That's what you do. Heartland. There we go. So heartlandportal.org. Thank you very much, Tatiana. I appreciate that. And so that is in there. If you have any issues with that, you can't get into it, you don't know what your credentials are, send an email to that HIFE-CPP@hife-usa.org. We'll get you to the right tech people who can walk you through what to do with that. Next week's webinar will be again on Zoom. You can find that in the heartlandportal.org. I'm gonna have to bookmark that. I never have to go to that site, so my brain doesn't connect it. So I really appreciate that. It's on. There's a calendar function on the page once you get into that, and it's got that information on there as well. And I believe if you're a consultant, you'll get a reminder email saying tomorrow night or next week, you know, this is coming out. So great questions. I love being on these. It really wakes my brain up. I know you can't tell, but you should have seen how tired I was earlier tonight. And so it does that. And you guys ask really such great questions on behalf of yourself, on behalf of the Institute, on behalf of your students and families and current and potential clients. So I really appreciate that. So keep them coming. You don't have to wait till we are together here or in consultant training or anything like that. You can always send me those questions, and I will do everything I can to get you information in a timely manner, or at least start the conversation so you have the information that you need to do the good work that you all are doing in your community. So folks, with that being said, I'm going to sign off. I know we have a couple more minutes, so if questions come up, let me know. Usually happens, but I will not see you again this month because Coach Mark takes over on the next one. However it looks for you, whatever holidays you celebrate, whatever time that you get with your families and friends, whether it be virtually or in person, whatever fits for you. I hope that is a wonderful month. I hope it is a time of renewal. I hope it's a time of hopefully continued health and safety for all of you. If there's anything that we can do here at the Institute, please let me know, and definitely let me know if there's anything that you have for me. Thank you again for joining me, and I will be in touch soon. Bye, everyone.